Hey guys, it's your girl Okwe and welcome to the All Shows Nigerian channel where I review Nollywood movies, series and reality TV shows. Today I'll be reviewing one of the latest Netflix Nollywood movies titled The House of Ga. I also want to apologize for, my being MIA. At this point it has become a pattern of mine, constantly like coming here, posting for like a whole month and then disappearing and then coming back a month after posting and all that. I feel like that's been my pattern for the past 6 months and I really apologize to you guys. I promise I will try to be more consistent with pushing out videos, pushing out content and everything, and I really appreciate you guys for even still standing by me regardless of my inconsistency so far. But I promise you guys that's going to change. And yeah, before I start my review, don't forget to like, comment, share and please subscribe to the channel. We are on our road to 300 subscribers. We are currently, I think, at 287. So please get that subscriber feed, pumping right now. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're a returning viewer, please subscribe and yeah, share the video, turn on your post notifications so you get notified every single time I post a new video. Alright, with that being said, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this review. So this movie was produced by Bolanle Austin Peters. Honestly, I feel like I was really anticipating this movie, and after watching it, I don't know how I really feel about it. There were certain aspects of this movie that I liked, and then there were certain aspects of it also that I didn't like. But at the end of the day, I came to this common consensus of, maybe I just had like really high expectations for this movie, and I think you guys would understand what I mean when I get into the review. So the main cast for this movie were Femibranch, Funkeakindele, Mike Afolarin, Ibrahim Chatta, Toyinabraham, Juliana Oloyede, Yemi Black, Lateef Adedimeji and many more characters. In terms of cast performance, I would say the entire cast is one of the main things that I would say worked for this movie, which is a huge thing because we never really know what to expect when a Nollywood movie is extremely star-studded. But in this case, I feel like it really worked in their favor, and I definitely commend all the actors and actresses for a job well done. Honestly, all of them played their parts to the T. It was very, very convincing. I'm going to talk more about Femibranch later on in my review, but overall, I would say all the casts, phenomenal job. The war costumes for me were a letdown. It made the warriors look very tacky and amateurish when they were like at war, and I feel like they could have done better in making the costumes look more convincing to further help with the, development of those scenes. The fight scenes, in my opinion, were very underwhelming in the beginning scene of the movie, if you remember the war scene that it started off with. But I feel like as it progressed, like at the end, the fight at the end was slightly better in terms of how it was executed. That one was a bit more entertaining, but I feel like I would have loved for the consistency of all the fights in the movie to just be the same level of like excitement, entertainment and everything. And I just feel like there were a few scenes or fights that were not interesting like that, and then there were some scenes that were interesting, and I just feel like I wish there was more consistency with that, because at the end of the day, this was a movie based off a war character. So how can you literally fumble on the war aspects or the fight aspects of this movie? That didn't make sense to me, and I just feel like they could have done better overall. One of my really good favorite scenes, one of my favorite fight scenes in this movie was the one where the youngest son of Ga was literally practicing with the female warrior, and I feel like that was a very convincing fight scene. And I also loved the ending scenes of the when the other rulers in the Oyo kingdom as well as the Alafin came together and like took Ga down. Those two scenes, in my opinion, were really, really good. Those two war scenes were really, really good, and I just feel like for the other scenes, I wish that they were the same level of entertaining and just executed properly, in my opinion. I love the creative approach this movie took, and that the overall storyline highlighted a very historical figure well known in the Yoruba culture and history. I love that these days, well, in general, I think I just love Nollywood movies that focus on like legends, like historical legends in our culture, If you remember, when Fumilayo Ransom Kuti came out, I was very excited. I just feel like, me as a person, I really love movies like that highlight, different characters in our culture, people that existed in the past, historical heroes, historical villains, and everything. Just letting us be more enlightened and knowledgeable in these type of histories and these type of occurrences that happened in our culture. So I feel like this was very nice to see. I did not know the story of Bashorunga until watching this movie, and I feel like after watching this movie, I'm going to research him more and like get my own understanding of who he was as a character, because damn, this guy was doing a lot of crazy things in this movie, and if it was half of what was shown in this movie that they executed as him, that guy was wicked. Like, he was very wicked. But yeah, I just really loved that this movie highlighted, a main character in the Yoruba culture. Quite frankly, I would have also loved to see more war scenes in this movie, considering that the plot was centered around a war character. I think that overall, the amount of war scenes that were in this movie were like 4. And I understand that, yes, the main plot was focused on the houseofgaa, but I just feel like, again, it was a war character. They could have still showed us a little bit more of like the war scenes. And maybe I am feeling this way because a lot of the other scenes of like fighting and everything just weren't convincing enough for me, so I was left like feeling like lackluster and like feeling like I needed more type of thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe that's why I feel like it didn't meet up to par with like what I expected regarding like, this war character they were trying to showcase in this movie. Initially, as the movie progressed, I didn't quite get the plot of where they were headed. It initially felt like different scenes were being tossed in randomly to form a storyline, but I feel like it all started to come together in like this almost the first half of the movie. I feel like I didn't really understand where the movie was headed in the storyline, and I had to even rewatch the movie to see if maybe I missed a couple of things, because I just really felt like I was confused as the movie was progressing until it reached like the 1 hour mark. That's when I started to see the storyline actually form, and I just wish that the storyline formed earlier on in the movie, because that would easily discourage people from continuing to watch the movie. I almost didn't finish this movie, but I'm very happy that I eventually was talked into rewatching it and finishing it, or else I don't know what this review would have turned out to be. So I really wish that from the beginning this movie was captivating. The trailer and everything for this movie, the marketing was very captivating, so I feel like the movie should have lived up to that hype and that expectation of what they were marketing to us, the viewers, and I just feel like it came down to be very underwhelming overall. I love how this movie taught a lesson on the consequences of greed and pride, and to what extent people will go in order to gain and maintain power. That was really nice. I love when movies have lessons to teach, and I feel like this movie had a lot of lessons to teach any generation, both young, old, and everything. It was definitely a storyline filled with a lot of lessons and a lot of morals, so I really love that about that. It was very hard guessing what role certain characters, like certain cast members, played in this movie. I obviously don't expect producers to like visibly point out the roles of like people in movies, but I just feel like it shouldn't be so hard to identify who is who in a movie. For instance, I feel like I couldn't keep count of how many wives or how many sons or how many brothers Ga had, and it was until like again the almost half of the movie, that's when he started to form, oh, this is his sister, who I thought was his wife, by the way, but it's his sister, or this person is his brother, or this person is his son, or this person is his other son. I just feel like all those things shouldn't have come at the middle of the movie. We should have had an understanding of who our characters were from the very beginning, and I feel like this movie lacked that. Everything was just really confusing, and all of a sudden, like halfway through the movie, things now started to make sense, and I didn't really like that about this movie. I really loved the special effects also used in this movie. They looked very realistic and convincing, and honestly I was pleasantly surprised and impressed by it. It's honestly really lovely to see that Nollywood producers are stepping up in that department, and I'm totally here for it, if I'm being honest. I love that they are putting in the work and making their special effects come out more convincing these days, because we know how far we have come regarding special effects in the Nollywood space. They were horrible few years back, and I'm really happy to see all these, positive changes, positive improvements in that department. It really shows that they are listening, it really shows that they are putting in the work, and it really shows that they are really, really trying to put out something, like put out a masterpiece in general, rather than just putting out anything randomly for us, the viewers. And I really, really appreciate that. Also, like I said in the beginning, this character, I really don't know if this is really how the Bashunruga character really is, like, or really was in his time. But if he really is, or if he really was what he was in his time, honestly, the guy was oozing wickedness and evil. Like, he was oozing vile wickedness, everything you could think about in the books. That was what this guy was oozing. Like, it was actually really scary, and I feel like that's a good thing, because Femibranch, I would say, really, really embodied his character so well, and maybe a bit too well in a scary way, because it's like it was that convincing, very, very convincing. And I really, really like when a cast or an actor is able to embody his character to the extent that you start to think, do you have this wickedness in your body? This one, that you really did it so well in this movie. So that was really nice to see. I just really love when, again, casts, actors and actresses, play their roles to the T, and I really, really appreciate that, because I feel like even though this movie lacked in some other aspects, the cast definitely made up for those other parts that they were not as successful in. Overall, I can't say I didn't like this movie, but at the same time, I can't say I loved it either. It started off boring, but eventually picked up its pace like an hour in. Maybe I just really had high expectations, for this movie, but I really wish that a lot more thought and depth and vision was put into it, and especially in its plot progression. But overall, I'm going to rate this movie a 6 out of 10. It's really a nice watch, although if you feel like it is boring in the beginning, just give it time, don't give up on it. I promise you it gets better. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this movie. I would really love to hear what you guys have to say, for those who have watched this movie, or for those who have watched this movie through social media. If you know, you know. So I would definitely love to read your comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all our other social media platforms as well. Our social media handles on TikTok and Instagram are the same. They are at ASNigerian. I'll leave it somewhere below here, at ASNigerian. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.